It's Easter, which means it's a celebration of new life. It's a celebration of when Jesus rose from the grave. And a symbol that we use to do that is Easter eggs. This Easter egg I just made in the tutorial you're about to watch. It took 15 minutes, so I promise you, you can make this Easter egg in 15 minutes. In the tutorial, I take you through it step by step in real time. So if you enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any ideas on what you want to see me make, or if you want a tutorial for it, pop it in the comments down below. It really helps me to personalize this channel to you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let's get on with the tutorial. So what will we need to make this Easter egg? First of all, the wool. I'm using this bright lilac. That's what it's called. It's bright lilac, and it's shade number 205 from the Women's Institute. It's premium acrylic yarn. I'm using that today, and I'm pairing that with my 4.5, I'm not sure if you can see there. Let's see if I can get that to focus. There we go, that's my 4.5mm needle. Now, you could do this with a 4mm needle and your egg would be slightly tighter, but because I'm demonstrating for you guys, it helps if I use a larger needle so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to open up this brand new ball of wool. We've got to fish out the end, not that side. Oh, they tricked me. That end. There we go. Okay. So we're going to start off by doing a slip knot. So to do the slip knot, we're simply going to wrap the wool around our finger and we're going to pull it through. You can do slip knots in many ways, but that's how I like to do mine. We're then going to insert our hook. We're going to pull it tight, but not too tight. And we're now going to start our round. So to do that, we're going to chain 2. So there's 2 chains, and then we're going to do 6 single crochets into that first chain. So that's 6 single crochets into the first chain. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now we're going to start on our first row. Now for this egg, we're going to work in the round. And so we're going to do repeating patterns in the round. So for our first row, we're simply going to increase every stitch. So that's going to be an increase stitch, and we're going to do it 6 times. So here's our first increase stitch. To increase, we simply do 2 single crochets into the end of the last one. So there's our second increase stitch, our third increase stitch. Now I like to do these in real time alongside you, so as you're crocheting with me, we can do this together. It saves you having to pause it constantly, and it means that you can see that crochet isn't something that just happens instantly. It's nice that we can do it together. So that was 6 increase stitches on the round there. So now we're going to continue in that pattern of 6, but this time each 6 has 2 stitches as we go round because we have 12 stitches altogether. So we're going to single crochet 1 stitch and then increase the next. So we're going to do that pattern, single crochet 1, increase 1, and we're going to do that 6 times. Okay, so our first single crochet and increase stitch. So that's our first one. We're going to do our second, a single crochet and an increase stitch. And we're going to repeat that all the way round. So for our third one, we're doing 1 single crochet and then an increase stitch. And again, 1 single crochet and an increase stitch, 2 more to go. That's 1 single crochet and an increase stitch. And finally, 1 single crochet and an increase stitch. There we go. So because we were doing that in a pattern of 1 single crochet and 1 increase, it means that we've actually added 6 stitches onto our round. So we went from having 6 on the first row to having 12 in the next row, and now we'll have 18 stitches. Now this egg isn't going to be huge. We want this egg to be hideable, right? That's the point in these eggs. So we're going to finish increasing, and that's going to make the base of our egg. So now we're going to do about 4 rows of single crochet. So we're simply going to work on the round with 4 rows, but at this point I would recommend we get a guide piece of wool. So let me find one. Here I have a red ball of wool that I've used before. I'm going to take this thread, and this is going to guide where the row starts. So now that I've got this, let me zoom you in again. Now that I've got this, what we're going to do is we're going to take this red piece of wool and we're going to slot it underneath our yarn in that corner. Now we're going to take both of these red bits of wool, pull them towards my right hand if you're right-handed, and then we're going to take up the yarn in our left hand as we normally would and continue round. So that's just going to be left there, but it's going to leave a trail of red string showing us where the beginning of our row is. So now we're simply going to single crochet our 4 rows. Now I'm coming to the end of my first row here. Once I reach that red bit of wool again, I'm then going to take the bit that comes out the front, I'm going to slot it through backwards, and then I'm going to have both of those strings coming out the back, and I'm going to continue for my second row. Now at this point it's probably worth thinking about flipping the egg inside out. You see, on crochet we have this bumpy side and we have this nice smooth looking side. I like to have the smooth side on the outside, so it's your choice, but at this point I'm going to flip my egg in on itself, and that means we get this nice smooth looking side on the outside. And there you can see we now have the bumps on the inside. You keep crocheting as normal. So we're going to keep going round on our second row. And we've reached our red marker again. So at this red marker, we're now going to take the wool, which was on the inside, and we're going to bring it back to the outside. And what you can see is we're just snaking the wool through the crochet to keep mark of that first stitch of each row. So with that now pulled to the front, we're going to continue round for our third row. And we have finished our third row. So once again, we're going to snake that red wool to the back, and we're going to complete our fourth row. And there we've got to the end of our fourth row. And you can see we've built a nice cup here in not too long. That only took us about 9 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to start gradually decreasing in, and that's going to make the top of our egg. So we're going to keep this guide string simply because it makes our life easier. It means we don't have to keep trying to remember where the beginning of the row is. So we're going to bring that guide string forward and have it just held there. Now, I'm going to remove this other bit of red string. I keep this string attached to the wool. Just for your reference, this red string is still attached to the ball because it means once I'm done, I can simply pull it out and still use that wool. It stops me wasting any wool. Now, for this decrease, we're going to still work in our six patterns. So we're going to do one pattern 6 times, is what I mean by that, which means we're going to start by doing 1 decrease and 1 single crochet. And then we're going to do that pattern 6 times. Okay, so a decrease stitch, we simply insert our hook into one of them, pull a loop through, go into the next one, pull a loop through, and turn them both into just 1 stitch. Okay, so we're going to do a decrease and 1 single crochet. And we're going to repeat that 5 more times. So that's a decrease and 1 single crochet. And then a decrease and 1 single crochet. And again, now you don't have to worry too much about counting these because we have our guide string in there. And when you get back to that, you'll know you've done 6. This is my 5th one, 1 single crochet, and the final one is a decrease and a single crochet. Now, if we wanted to make a ball, we'd do what we did on the bottom. We'd then do our next row immediately as all decreases. That would take us to 6 stitches, and then we'd finish off. But we're making an egg, and eggs have bigger bases and pointier tops. So to make it taper a little bit longer at the top, we're now going to do just a plain row of single crochets. So you should have 12 stitches at this point, and we're going to do 1 row of single crochet. There we go. And that's our 1 row of single crochet. And now you can see it's slightly more tapered. It will become even more obvious when we stuff the egg. We're now going to bring that guide wool to the front. We're now going to do our row of decreases. So we're going to do 6 decrease stitches. Because decrease stitches take 2 stitches and turn them into 1, that means for 6 decrease stitches, we're going to go into all 12 stitches, but we're going to halve the amount of stitches we have. So we should end up with 6 stitches by the end of this row. So let's decrease all the way around. There we go. And we've come to the end of our row. Now you can see it's getting much more pointy. We're now going to do 1 more row of single crochet just to give it that last bit of height. So that is going to be 6 single crochet stitches. Let's bring that guide wool through and do 6 single crochets. And there we have our egg complete. You can see we have that wonderful egg shape, a big base and a thin top. So now it's time to do the stuffing. So whilst it's still attached, just in case we want to do any more edits, let's cut it. So now we're simply going to snip the bright lilac wool that we were using. Let's snip it, and snip it with a decent amount of string. So I've got about a finger's length of string there. And then with the red wool, we're simply going to pull it and it will come out. So now we're left with our egg and it's got no red marks on it. To finish this off, we're actually just going to pop our hook into the next stitch, and we're then going to pull a loop through and pull that loop through your final stitch, pull it all the way through, and that will cast off the crochet. We pull that nice and tight. Now keep that string because we're going to use that to seal up the top, but first of all we're going to stuff the egg. So I have a huge bag of stuffing. I got this from Hobbycraft. It's nothing special. There we go. Hobbycraft toy stuffing, filling, high loft polyester. It's not an advertisement. This is just what I'm using currently. I've got it open at the top here. So we're going to take out a chunk. Now sometimes this stuff can get quite clumpy. So we're just going to pull it apart a bit, separate those bits of stuffing, separate the, I want to call them filaments. I don't know if that's the technical name. And then we're simply going to push it through the top. Now I'm going to use my scissors here just to help me push it through. So I'm just going to pop it towards the top there and then poke it through. It can get a little bit fiddly, but just keep pushing it through and it will go in. There we go. Now it's your choice how much you want to stuff your egg. I'm going to do a bit more. I want the egg to be relatively firm. It's going to help it hold its shape. I'm going to poke in a little bit more. There we go. There is the egg. That is nice and firm. And now we're simply going to seal the top. So for this part, we're going to pop our hook into a stitch, pull the wool through. We're then going to pop it into the next stitch along and pull the wool through. And the next stitch, and we're going to go around all the stitches, just pulling the wool through. Repeat it for all your stitches. This is going to make sure the wool is fed through the whole circle. Then we're going to go back into the original stitch. And now we're going to pull it tight. And with that pulled tight, you can see there it's sealed up the top. So then with our crochet hook, we're simply going to pull that thread into the rest of the egg. And there you have it. Here is your Easter egg. That only took us 15 minutes to make, which is brilliant. So if you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel and helps me know what videos you guys are interested in. Also, check out my Etsy shop. The link will be in the description, and comment down below what you want to see me make. It really helps if you guys let me know what you want to see. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you very soon.